At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Mike Krueger here. It is 7:01, about a minute late, starting off Coffee with Krueger, but yesterday was Be Late for Something Day, so I guess I decided to go ahead and celebrate that today. How you doing out this Friday? For many of you, this is a short work week, so this is, of course, just a kind of a nice surprise. When you wake up in the morning, it's already Friday. But it's been hot the last few days, and I tell you what, it's going to be hot continuing for today. Even this weekend is looking fairly hot. However, I will say this, temperatures are going to start to drop. We're going to notice a drop going into next week. And we're also going to be looking at maybe the potential for some showers by next week as well. But that's a long ways out. We still got a lot to kind of get into and get through with that. But overall, it looks like we are going to be looking at some cooler weather here. All right, let's go ahead and get you right to Krueger's Quick Cast. This is just a quick look at your forecast. So you, if you're checking in this morning, you can very quickly just check the forecast and see what's going on here. So temperatures right now are in the mid-60s, give or take. Some of the warmer spots like Chico at 70, 67 degrees for Redding, 63 though for Willows. You see 46 in Bernie, that's one of the cooler spots, as well as Alturas at about 45. We're at about 53 degrees for Mount Shasta City and mid-50s along the coast. And let me tell you something, that visibility, it is low again for our friends out on the coast here, taking a look at what it looks like at Elk Country, just north of Trinidad. Boy, I tell you what, it is pretty foggy out there, and we've seen the fog kind of socked in there throughout the day yesterday, and that's going to be the case here even up north, out towards Crescent City. This guy, well, he's probably just enjoying his morning coffee. Not with me, though. Not Coffee with Krueger, because he's out there. But take a look. I mean, you've got that low visibility out there. Even that, I guess that's a seagull. Even that seagull just kind of checking it out and saying, I don't even want to be flying out there. It's the visibility is way too low. All right, we take you back to Elk Country to see if we got any elk out there. See if it's living up to its name as Elk Country, and it doesn't look like it is here today. But every once in a while we get lucky and we can see some elk out there. Let's take a look at that visibility one more time, and you can see about a mile visibility for Crescent City and Eureka, and some dense fog in some areas. And I tell you, it's going to be hard for a lot of that visibility to, or should I say that fog, to kind of break apart. There is your out-the-door forecast for this Friday, September 6th. You can see temperatures on the mild side, that fog for the coast, mid-50s there. 70 for the valley at 8 o'clock this morning, much like yesterday. Temperatures low 60s for Trinity County and the Eastern Mountains. By the way, there's going to be a little bit of haze for the Eastern Mountains and even places like Modoc County, for example. Most of the smoke is going to be coming in from the Bear Fire, and that's creating most of that haze. But this is really light haze, and it's typically not even all that noticeable when you kind of really get into those darker and light shades of gray. It's mainly you start getting into those yellows that you start noticing it and maybe even smelling it a little bit as well. Still is that heat advisory until later on this evening, so we still have another hot day in store for us. And as far as showers and thunderstorms are concerned, doesn't look like it's going to happen, folks. Now we can see that fog along the coast here through the day today. There are going to be some areas that could see some breaks in the clouds as we go through the afternoon and this evening. But really, for the most part, a lot of the immediate coast is seeing a lot of that fog. But look at the east. Most of any activity here, and even that doesn't look all that impressive, will be east of the state line into Nevada. Now, places like extreme eastern Modoc County, maybe extreme eastern Lassen County could see a straight shower, maybe even a straight thunderstorm. So places like Cedarville, Fort Bidwell, maybe out towards Eagleville. But otherwise, it looks like it's going to be dry. Now, 10 o'clock tonight, there you can see again, it's trying to just clip extreme eastern California. So again, eastern Modoc, eastern Lassen. But for the most part, looking fairly dry. All right, here's what we expect for today. Yes, again, today starts the cooling trend, but it will still be hot out there. I am still expecting temperatures to be about 105 degrees for Redding, 101 for Chico. There you can see Alturas about 94. About 100 degrees out in Weaverville and Hayfork, in those low 60s with that fog and those low clouds. That's keeping those temperatures down a bit. Looking at your 7-day outlook, again, today is the start of the heat wave, or the end of the heat wave, that is. Not the start, the end of the heat wave. So we're going to start the cooling trend, about 100 degrees, upper 90s for Saturday, Sunday, and temperatures continue to drop. Now, I've included a chance for showers for everyone, but if you stick around for the deep dive, you may see that you're not going to have to get your hopes up too high on that. It's mainly going to possibly be winds. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit later in their deeper dive forecast. Your 7-day outlook for the coast, inland, and for Trinity County. The coast, obviously, mid-60s, give or take, for the next 7 days. And then, of course, inland and Trinity County, seeing the cooling trend going through next week. Taking a look at your 7-day outlook for Siskiyou, Modoc, and the Eastern Mountains. Yeah, temperatures around 90 through the weekend, but temperatures dropping as we go through next week, and that chance for showers too by next Wednesday. But again, stick around because we're going to be talking about that in a little bit more detail as to whether or not we see that. Taking a look at your fire updates here. This is the Boise fire, still at 80%, 87% containment, that is. 99% containment here for the Park Fire at 429,603 acres. And taking a look at the Bear Fire, 3,327 acres at 15% containment. Okay, we take a look at those winds that we're expecting here this morning. They're not that bad. We take you into the afternoon today. A little breezy, no big surprises, nothing really going on here as far as any major wind event, but we are going to notice the wind's kind of picking up this afternoon, and the humidity is rather low. That's going to keep that fire danger elevated here for today. In fact, the high to very high range for the valley, for the Shasta Valley in central Siskiyou County. We've also got the moderate to high category in east of really that entire line there. You can see east of Siskiyou County and east of the valley, seeing that yellow and even some oranges kind of painted in there as well. So we take a look at Lake Oroville, and looks like just a beautiful sunrise there, a bird kind of flying off in the distance. Take you up to Lake Oroville, North Forebay. There you can see, of course, not much wind blowing. You've got that glass lake. If you look way off in the distance there, you can see a little bit of that haze that I was talking about for this morning. Take a look at Main Street, Chico on Highway 32. People just waiting patiently at the red light, but not a lot of traffic out there this morning. Highway 99 at Neal Road, typical traffic that we see this time of the day, but it looks like it's flowing smoothly. Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive in Reading. Well, of course, you've got the traffic, looks like for the most part, flowing smoothly there as well. Today is Friday, and we've got our pet of the week. And this week, we meet a husky. An elderly husky at that, but you would never guess by looking at. Take a look at this week's pet of the week. Hello everyone, Mike Krueger from Weather NorCal. This is Pet of the Week. We are at Haven Humane Society. We have got Renee from Haven Humane, and we have also got Shasta, about a 9-year-old. I mean, really looks good for a 9-year-old,
yeah, she's
right?
about 9 years old.
Okay.
She hides it well with all of her beautiful hair here.
Yes, yes.
But she is a senior girl, and because of that, there is no adoption fee for her, which is great, thanks to our PALS Fund.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, for a senior, not only looks, I mean, you don't have any wrinkles, you don't, anything like, you look beautiful, those beautiful blue eyes here.
Her beautiful eyeliner.
Yeah, the eyeliner look, oh, that is, yes, there it is. What would you say would be a good home?
She is a very sweet girl. She seems to love everybody. She can be a little bit more particular about her animal friends.
Oh.
She would do best in a home with no small animals.
Got it.
So she's just a little picky.
So if you do have a dog baby this size, maybe go into that meet and greet room.
Yep.
See if they get along or not. But boy, you've got some energy for a senior. You're not a
spunky senior.
You maybe do some CrossFit. What are you doing there? All right, so no adoption fee. If you are interested in Shasta or any of the other beautiful animals they have here at Haven Humane Society, be sure to give the number on the bottom of your screen a call. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Shasta.
Come on.
And good luck finding your forever home. We'll see you next week on Pet of the Week. By the way, want to, of course, this is kind of interesting. So we have someone who mentioned, who was saying that Robin Epperson Lee was saying there was an elk by the tree. I guess I need to see a bigger image of this, but yeah, maybe there are some elk out there. Oh, I see. Yeah. So if you look closely, depends on how big your screen is, you can see better. But to the right of the red schoolhouse, you can see the elk just kind of hanging out. There it is, finally living up to its name. I guess maybe many times I just don't see them because sometimes they're maybe off in the distance. Sometimes they're off in that parking lot. They're just right there in the foreground. And it's really fun to see them here. But thank you, Robin, for pointing that out because now we can check that out. Let's see what else is going on with some of you out there this morning here. We have got Rowdy Kelly saying that there is some of that thick fog out there this morning. Yeah, I mean, the fog was pretty dense for you along the coast here through a good portion of the day. We were expecting temperatures to be much warmer, but because that fog really decided to stick around for a while, not to mention last night, this morning, and most likely you're not going to see it burn off a whole lot here today. There may be some patchy areas that could see some clearing here this afternoon, but for the most part, it looks like everything is going to be looking pretty foggy there for you along the coast. Pretty typical though, right? We got a lot of good mornings out there today. We've got Chris saying good morning. We got Ruth, Bill Carlton, Tracy Sackett saying good morning. Happy Friday. Curtis Brown saying good morning, everyone. Ready for some cooler weather? This is getting old. Boy, I tell you what, Curtis, I couldn't agree with you more. Who was I talking to? There's someone saying that we're complaining about the heat. We want it to cool off, and then when it's cooling off, then we say, I want the heat again because it's too cold. Looks like we've got Catherine Schmidt saying, good morning, running behind. I'll have to go back to NorCal weather and catch up. Yes, you can. So if you're coming in late and you want to check to see what's going on, after this is recording as we speak, so after I'm done recording this and I'm done with the show, all you have to do is go to weathernorcal.com. And thanks for pointing this out, Catherine, because that's pretty cool. Let's get this out here so people can see. You can see here this show. Boy, I need a haircut. I think I've got a haircut next week. I could use one. Anyway, if you scroll down, you can see Coffee with Krueger, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. That's when it starts. But if you click on it, you can see a recorded earlier. So this recording that you see here is from yesterday. But once I'm done with this, you will be able to watch Coffee with Krueger on the website. How cool is that? I love that. We've got Rambunctious Joy saying, hello from Chester, pre-snow month. Yeah. In fact, my son, he's getting all amped up about Alpine this year. He's snowboarding. You know, he wants to get all the new gear. We went to Sports LTD in Reading to try on some new boots. He needs some new snowboarding boots. And of course, they don't have anything out yet, really. But it's just, yeah, I mean, it's getting that time where people are, they were saying at Sports LTD, usually it's not until next month that people really start kind of getting ready for the ski season. But Aiden, man, he is on it. He is like trying so hard to make sure that he gets all the gear and wants to get the gear at good prices before everybody wants it. And so, yeah, it's kind of how it's working for now. All right, tell you what, folks, let's get ourselves to the full-on forecast here. As you know, Coffee with Krueger is sponsored and made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. Because at Wind River Resort and Casino, you can enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. I want to thank Wind River for their support. Now, let's take a look at those temperatures out there right now. And, you know, it's actually not as warm this morning for most of us as it was yesterday. So this is kind of the beginning signs of some of that cooler air that's moving in, but still warm in Chico at 70, 67 degrees out towards Reading, 64 degrees in Corning, 45 degrees for Alturas, 46 degrees for Bernie, and temperatures low to mid 50s here along the coast. So here's your headlines. Cooling trend starts today, but still hot out there. Not as hot this weekend, but a big cool down for next week. And what I mean by that, as far as the big cool down is concerned, you know, you're talking about a high of 105. If you drop down to 90, that's a 15-degree drop. That's a pretty big drop, but you're still pretty warm, right? Possibility for some showers, maybe some thunderstorms here for next week as well, which we'll get into that here just a little bit later here. But let's take a look, first off, taking a look at the winds and all the elements that we look at when it comes to fire danger. Now, as of right now, this morning, the winds are not blowing all that strong. But as we go in the afternoon, surprise, surprise, right? You've got some afternoon breezes in some areas here. Surprise, surprise, you'll see it again here for your Saturday and most likely into your Sunday as well. Although Saturday, it looks like those winds may be a little bit stronger and then they die down again going into your Sunday. So we look at the humidity levels, surprise, surprise again, right? Because we're still looking at those single digits, still very dry. So it's still hot, it's still dry, still a little breezy in some spots here. So as a result, we've got that elevated fire risk. Now the good news is as the temperatures drop, we'll probably start to see the fire weather risk begin to drop as well. But today, no, still in that high to very high range. A lot of yellows and even oranges to the north and east of the valley. That's going to be the case again for your Saturday. Now it's interesting, Sunday is when we'll see a more notable drop in those temperatures. So as a result, the fire weather risk is not going to be as high, and that will probably continue into early next week as well. Notice this little spin of low pressure. This is some cloud cover and a disturbance that's going to be pushing through today. It's just going to bring us mainly to the clouds, some high and mid-level clouds, but that's about it. The heat advisory through this evening, so we still have that heat advisory today, but it should expire here later on tonight and into tomorrow. So here's what's been going on. You've got the bubble of heat that's been kind of right on top of us over the last few days. This is a trough of low pressure, but it didn't originate from the north. It is originating from the south and west. So it's not a cold trough of low pressure, but it does have more mild air associated with it. So it does two things. Number one, it pushes the heat to our south and east. So that is what's really helping to drop our temperatures. But since this is more mild air, it also helps to drop our temperatures down. So that's what's moving through and starting to move through today. It'll move through on Saturday and Sunday. This is when temperatures start to drop even more, keeping the heat down to the south and east. Now, once this moves out, I've got my eyes on this right here. This is going to be diving down to the south as we go into your Wednesday. Now, this is a couple of things we got to watch for. Notice I've included the winds in here. That's because what we've got here is a classic, I've said this before, an inside slider. And that's when an area of low pressure kind of pushes to our north and east and then slides down into the desert southwest. When you get this type of pattern here, that can typically set up a strong north wind that we're going to have to be on the lookout for as we go into Wednesday. Not only the winds, but the good news at least is cooler temperatures and maybe some showers. But the positioning of this area of low pressure would support most of that rain, mainly in the eastern mountains, Modoc County, Lass, and Plumas counties, and really not anywhere else. But the thing is, that's what this forecast model is now showing. We may look at the next forecast model. Maybe it's a little bit more to the west. Maybe it's a little bit more to the south or to the north, or maybe even off the coast. It's been kind of bobbling all over the place, making things a little bit tricky for us. But I am beginning to see a little bit more alignment between this forecast model, the American forecast model, and the European forecast model. And if that holds true, then yeah, that would support some of the strong winds we could possibly see on Wednesday. But then that moves on out of here by Thursday, Friday, the winds die down, and we're back to warmer temperatures. So the peak of the cooling trend next week will probably peak around Wednesday, but then we'll see temperatures increase a little bit here, but still no major heat waves. The major heat's here, the major heat's here. We're kind of between the cooler air and the major heat, so that keeps us warm. So temperatures dipping through Wednesday, and then a slight increase after that toward the end of next week. So you can see right here, the Climate Prediction Center is putting us in that near normal category. So you can see that trend downward. We're below normal by the middle of next week. There's the peak, kind of goes back up again, and then maybe back down. So we're keeping it below normal through next week and even into that next weekend. Interesting that the Storm Prediction Center is still holding strong with that potential for thunderstorms here in the areas in green. This is one of the few times that I'm just going to have to completely disagree with the Storm Prediction Center. I've been doing this over the last few days. I've been kind of illustrating this. And quite honestly, I was expecting this green to be gone as I woke up this morning to take a look at this map, but it's not. I'm going to show you why I don't anticipate any thunderstorms there. There's two forecast models that I want to show you here. Now, I typically don't show you this one. It's called the HRRR forecast model. It updates every hour based on the current conditions, and usually I don't show this because it tends to be very aggressive, number one, with the amount of rainfall, and number two, the intensity of the thunderstorms And so those are things that I typically don't want to show, but I like to use it to see maybe if there's some kind of trend in there. So knowing that it's typically very aggressive with the amount of rainfall and thunderstorms, take a look at this as we take you through the day. Of course, you've got the fog along the coast. That goes without saying. But you can see here, 4, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, we're not seeing any showers or thunderstorms. Now again, remember I was talking about some of those clouds coming in with that disturbance. Yeah, so we'll see the clouds move in, but I don't anticipate any thunderstorms. Now, you can see here, it's getting fairly aggressive now. It's showing a bit more activity here, getting closer to Alturas, Cedarville, and extreme eastern Lassen County. So this is the most aggressive I've seen it. In fact, we're seeing it together for the first time. So it's getting more aggressive. Now, I want to show you Futurecast. This is the forecast model that I show you every day. 5 p.m. Friday, maybe a little pop-up here and there. Extreme eastern Lassen, extreme eastern Modoc County, but everywhere else looking fairly dry, right? And of course the fog along the coast. Let's take you into tonight. Now remember, the HRRR forecast model had showers and thunderstorms kind of developing right about here, but most of this model wants to keep it off to the east. So with all of that said, do you kind of go middle of the road? Okay, so if we see anything, it'll most likely be this evening and tonight, and would mainly be in extreme eastern Modoc County, extreme eastern Lassen County. So is it out of the question for Alturas, Fort Bidwell, Cedarville, maybe Ayden, maybe Eagleville, maybe just maybe Susanville this evening to see a stray shower or thunderstorm? Not entirely out of the question. But today, I think you'll be dry. So if you have any outdoor plans today, I think you'll be fine. It's tonight that we're going to have to kind of watch that potential. It will be short-lived. It won't be here for very long. And then by the time we get into Saturday, it's all pretty much gone. Some clouds left over tomorrow morning, but those will be clearing out for Saturday afternoon. And then as we go into Sunday, still looking at the dry conditions, and that fog is staying persistent along the coast. All right, here's a look at your long range. And there you have it. There you can see as we go into 6 p.m. So remember I was talking about the positioning of that area of low pressure off to our north and east, that inside slider. The positioning of that would bring most of the rain off to the east. But I'm giving everyone a chance for showers for now. But there's a very good chance that over the weekend, meteorologist Brian Wilson will probably take it out of the forecast. I will probably take it out of the forecast by Monday morning when I'm giving you the latest updates. But for now, I'm keeping the chance in there. It just depends on where that area of low pressure decides to go. And then by the end of next week, that's all pretty much gone. That continues even into that next weekend. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the precipitation outlook. Climate Prediction Center puts us in at least the northwest parts in the wetter than normal category, but overall, I just don't anticipate a lot of rainfall. So here are your wave heights for your Friday. They're going to be fairly low along the coast here. We're not going to see much change going into Saturday. They're not going to increase a lot. They're not going to decrease much. It's pretty much going to be status quo. So with that said, no small craft advisories, but you are going to have to watch for that patchy, dense fog, not only along the coast, but obviously if you're going to be out on that small boat. All right, let's take a look at your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures along the Highway 299 corridor, about 100 degrees, give or take. 102 for Del Loma, 100 in Weaverville, 102 for Douglas City, upper 90s for Coffee Creek and Trinity Center. We take you to the south, about 99 for Hayfork, for all intents and purposes about 100. 92 degrees out in Wildwood, 90 for Mad River, and Forest Glen about 94 degrees. Let's take a look at your North Coast neighborhood forecast. Southern Humboldt County, 85 for Honeydew, 70 in Shelter Cove, 98 out in Redway, and there you can see Redcrest about 86 degrees. Now for the North Coast into Ferndale, Fortuna, Hydesville, Rio Dell, mainly 65 to 70 for that daytime high, just depending on where you are. Some of that fog, especially around the Ferndale area. Trinidad, 70, 65 degrees for McKinleyville, 63 in Eureka, so cooler on the coast. But look at that, plenty of sunshine and hot temperatures for the inland areas. 102 out in Orleans, 69 for Smith River, Gas Key about 84, and Oric about 67 degrees. Your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, you've got temperatures over 100 degrees for most of that Highway 96 as you head on to I-5. Temperatures upper 90s to right around 100 degrees here. 97 for Greenview and Etna, 98 for Fort Jones. Callahan about 95, and of course that chance for showers by next Wednesday. 95 degrees for Weed as well as Mount Shasta City. Dunsmuir about 98. 89 for Tennant and Doris, about 92 degrees. In your Modoc County neighborhood forecast, temperatures mainly in the low 90s. You can see 94 degrees for Elter. So again, I don't have any thunderstorms in the forecast for you today. But later on this evening, later on tonight, Fort Bidwell, El Turris, California Pines, likely, Cedarville, all of these areas, possibly seeing a stray shower, maybe even a thunderstorm here later on tonight. To the west of that, I think the chances are going to be very slim. All right, let's take you off into the eastern mountains. How about Bieber? Sure, maybe a stray shower, thunderstorm tonight. But to the west of that, probably not. I think Weaverville, you'll be clear of it. But I do expect temperatures to drop as we go into the weekend, especially as we go into next week. We take you down to the south. All right, let's take a look at some of those chances for showers and thunderstorms there. So Chester, probably not. Westwood, probably not either. But as we take you to the south, okay, yeah, maybe Susanville, Janesville, Doyle, Portola, maybe. You have to really head to the north before you really start getting it into the eastern portions of California, but you get the idea. There's your 7-day forecast for Paradise. Temperatures dropping as we go through next week, and everyone, as I mentioned, looking at that chance for showers by Wednesday. Your Valley neighborhood forecast to the south, look for a high of 100 degrees out towards Los Tolinos, 104 in Red Bluff, and Durham about 99 degrees. Take you up to the north with 104 out towards the city of Shasta Lake. Redding, Anderson, 105, 104 in Palo Cedro, 100 in Lakehead, and Cottonwood a high today of 104 degrees. So let's take a look at your 7-day outlook for Redding. Temperatures just kind of hovering around close to 100 degrees here for Saturday, Sunday. Temperatures in the mid-90s by Monday and Tuesday, and then it looks like, again, that chance for showers on Wednesday. But don't count on that rain next Wednesday. That's all I got to say right now. It's probably not going to happen, quite honestly, but I'm just keeping it in there just for that little bit of ray of hope, because we could certainly use that rain. I think really the main story with Wednesday is cooler temperatures and maybe some stronger winds, as we were talking about that a little bit earlier. So yeah, that's definitely something we need to be on the lookout for. Let's see here. We have got... let's see here. Let's see what we got here. How's everybody doing out there this morning? We got Chester. We've got Poppy Hills. Where's Poppy Hills? Let me Google that. Where's Poppy Hills? I've never heard of Poppy Hills. Poppy Hills, California. That is in Pebble Beach. Ooh, that's a nice area. I like it there. Is that where you are? Are you watching from... I guess it's like Poppy Hills is kind of like a golf course. Is that? I don't know. Let me check out the maps. Let me see if it shows it on the maps. It's just showing a Poppy Hills golf course. Is that where you are? That is, yeah, that's in the Carmel Valley area. I don't know. Are you watching from there? Interesting. So Poppy Hills area. Interesting. Betty McFarland. No, you're a regular. Tell me, Betty, is that, I don't know. I have a hard time. I've just never heard of it before. Okay. If you're in that area, I'm sure it's beautiful. I love it out there. I think my wife was just there recently too, in that area too. All right, anything else going on? Doesn't look like it, folks, but we do have a weekend that's almost coming up here, and I don't think I hear anybody complaining about that. That would be phenomenal. So we're going to wrap up the show here today. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for participating, and I'm going to just keep checking that message board here to see if Betty is still watching, to see where that Poppy Hills area is. Kind of interesting, but you have yourselves a great day. As mentioned, it's still going to be a hot day, so remember to take care of yourself. Drink plenty of water. Be sure to check on the elderly, young children, and the pets. One last day of this triple-digit heat, of this heat advisory weather, and then I anticipate temperatures to start to drop over the weekend. So have yourselves a great weekend. Be sure to check in with Brian Wilson Saturday and Sunday, and I'll be back here on Monday at 6 a.m. with your recorded update. Then, of course, right here, live at 7 a.m. on Coffee with Krueger, made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. So thank you again. Have a great day. and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.